Now, it's certainly not every day I say this about a new model, especially from Lionel, but Lionel's all-new Legacy F19 that's sitting right here next to me might honestly be one of the greatest models they have ever made in their Legacy line. So, without any further ado, in today's video, let's check out this amazing model. Make sure to use code RJTRAINS at trains.com for $10 off any order $50 or more. We're back at Train World. Time to spend some more money. Now, for those of you who have followed my channel for almost any period of time, you know I'm a huge fan of the RF&P, the Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac Railway. Now, the RF&P themselves actually never owned the Chesapeake and Ohio F19 Pacifics. They did own a very similar style of locomotives, which they called their 305 and 405 class. And those Pacifics were used for almost anything you can think of on the railroad. They were used for commuter trains. They were used for express passenger services, as well as fast freights. The only differences between the 305 and the 405 class is the placement of the steam generator on top of the boiler. The F19s is before the smokestack, meanwhile the RF&P Pacifics were behind the smokestack. And the driving wheels had a slightly smaller diameter, which of course isn't noticeable at all in O gauge. Now, even though this is a fantasy paint scheme, and I'm not one for the fantasy paint schemes, this one just so happens to be close enough that I certainly could not pass up on the opportunity. When Lionel cataloged these in their Volume 2 of 2023 catalog, I placed my pre-order immediately and held my breath to see how the locomotive turned out. And I think the one thing that pops into everybody's mind when they first see this locomotive is that amazing blue boiler. And of course, when Lionel tries to do any color other than black, there's a lot of controversy involved. So yes, the blue is exactly the same as what they've been using as their Russian iron on camelbacks, as well as the Erie triplexes, as you can see here, compared to a run of the Lionel Legacy camelbacks with an Erie with a Russian iron boiler. And if you look at the catalog render, it's not that color, it's a darker blue. So I was actually able to find some rare color photos of the RF&P Pacifics on the turntable in Virginia. So I will leave it up to you. How did Lionel do on this color? Here's the render. Here is the model. And here is the picture of the real locomotive. All right, and here is the model again. Here is another picture of the real blue. And here is the render. I'll leave it up to you guys, but I think that Lionel actually did a good job, and the Russian iron is pretty close to what the color photos looked like. And so I can't talk about this engine without talking about all of the fantastic add-on detail to this locomotive. It's up there with the Lionel Legacy H7 that just came out about a month ago, also a Chesapeake and Ohio locomotive, with the great piping detailing on the front with the steam generator and the air cylinders, as well as something that Lionel did with the F19s is that there's a lot of chrome painted details. And although it doesn't really come up on video, I can say in person it really does pop and it really does shine. And with the RF&P, they had very intricate paintwork on their locomotives, and Lionel has spared no expense here when it comes to the fine lining and detailing, especially along the cab. And one thing I was not prepared for was just how nicely of a detailed cab interior Lionel included. All of the dials are painted. The cab interior is painted green. It looks just like a real locomotive. As for the tender, it's nice and heavy die cast, and it's actually the same tender that Lionel uses for their Berkshires. It's not one of the Vandy tenders from the C&O versions, but I actually have an RF&P Berkshire, so if you put the two of them together, they're the same exact tender except for the road number on the back. But once again, the lining and detailing is just phenomenal. And when it comes to all the sounds and features that are included in this locomotive, there's certainly some channels that have done very in-depth videos about everything when it comes to electronics. But as a quick and basic overview, this is equipped with the Lionel Legacy system, which allows you to control it with your Cap 2, your Base 3, your Bluetooth app, a Lion Chief Universal Remote, or if you just like it simple, you can use the standard Lionel transformer and just up and down, forward, neutral, whistle, bell, the whole 9 yards. Now, Lionel recommends that this locomotive has a minimum curve of 0.54. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions from people seeing, can it go smaller? So let's cut to upstairs underneath the Christmas tree to see if this thing can handle 0.36. All right, here we are. We made it under the tree. The F19 sitting right there. Maple is supervising right behind me. So let's see if this F19 works. So after going through that 0.36 curve, it looks like the trailing truck came off. Let's try running it back around here. So now this locomotive cannot work on 0.36 curves. Of course, with every standard legacy locomotive, it's equipped with 5 whistles and 5 bells, including the return of the original F19 whistle, which I know a lot of people are excited for, and it sounds really good. But if you listen here in this demo clip, I find if you want to give it one short whistle blast, you get like this weird automatic second whistle, which I personally don't like, and it probably has something to do with the fact that now these locomotives are being designed to be compatible with the Base 3, which doesn't have as sensitive of a quilling feature as the Cap 2 remote does. So little things like that gets passed over in the review process. To me, that's all right, because it's not even my favorite whistle. This is my favorite whistle in the model. So I have been blabbering on for long enough. As I said earlier, I think Lionel hit an absolute home run with the F19s. If you didn't pre-order one, I think regardless of the version, they're going to fly off the shelves pretty quickly because Lionel just did an amazing job. And I guess videos like this don't help those people that are still saving up for one of these. Especially the RF&P one. I'm sure that not many of these were made, and that blue boiler just looks so amazing that I can't imagine these will stick on store shelves for long. So I've blabbered on for long enough. Let's let the engine do the talking.
Train 1 brakeman, let's get an application for continuity test. Good application, okay to release. Train 1 brakeman, we have good set, good release, good continuity on timetable train number 1. Over.
That's a roger. Good set, good release, good continuity on timetable train number 1. Out.
Dispatcher, ready to roll. Can I pull? Over.
Hold for track orders. Dispatcher out.
Dispatcher, we're ready. Is it okay to pull? Over.
Take the green. Out.
Clear forward to
Well, that wraps it up for today's video. I just wanted to thank everybody again for tuning in and watching the video, and just for all of the great times we've had here on RJ's Trains in 2024. I'm looking very forward to 2025. I've got a lot planned for the channel, so stay tuned. There'll be a layout update video, and we'll talk about everything coming forward for RJ's Trains in the next year. So without any further ado, take care, stay safe.